Good afternoon and welcome to Horolejesta, an opportunity to divulge into new releases, watch heritage and pretty much all things horology. So, what does the name mean? Derived from the term Horolejesta, meaning a group of horological fanatics and jesters, because we aim to bring an element of banter to what we are trying to do. This is our chance to go slightly deeper into the watch world and explore the parts that make the watch boffins go into a frenzy of excitement. We are hoping to bring a new show every month, showcasing at least one or potentially a number of timepieces, depending on whether or not we are good at it, basically. So today marks the first, so without further ado, let's get on with it. I'm joined by my colleague and co-host, Richard, aka Watch Nerd 1970, who to me is not only a friend, but I behold him as the master Yoda of the watch world. Self-proclaimed as, yes, you guessed it, a watch nerd, let us just ensure that there is no bullying going on in the workplace, it's merely opinion of the man himself.
Hello everyone and welcome to my first video with Loz. It's quite intimidating, not the videoing, just sitting here with Loz. Just look at the size of him against a normal human being. Horology and watches are my passion. Hopefully you'll soon realise to what extent these wrist-worn marvels excite me. I aspire to be Loz's Sid Little sidekick to his Eddie Large.
You've been with me since 1963.
And if I manage to educate and enthrall a few viewers at the same time, I will be delighted.
Well, I have to say, I have no idea who either of them are. They sound like WWE wrestlers to me.
Oh my God!
So on that note, let's get on with the show. We are going to talk about the brand new Basel release from Tudor, the Black Bay P01. So Richard, the brand new Black Bay P01, what can you tell us about it? Where do its origins lie? And the question is, why now?
So, the P01 is a simple nomenclature for quite a complex timepiece. P01 stands for Prototype 1. The prototype in question was created in 1968 by Rolex Tudor at the request of the US Navy. Despite Tudor matching the US Navy's design brief perfectly and creating a superb utilitarian watch, the US Navy decided to stick with the Tudor Oyster models that they were already using. The reason I believe Tudor has decided to release this watch now is because the Black Bay has almost become a brand in itself. However, the incredible success of the Rolex-inspired GMT and the Tudor-inspired 58 was going to be difficult to recreate utilising the current model structure. Tudor have pride in design that requires something radical within the Black Bay family. The US Navy provided this design criteria and in doing so also created a wonderful story that fans love.
So, aesthetically it looks pretty unique, but I can see lots of cues taken from the Black Bay heritage. Wouldn't you agree?
Apart from the famous and unique snowflake hand, there isn't much that has been carried over from the standard Black Bay. The navigator's bezel is unique with its brushed sunburst pattern and serrated edge. The articulated end pieces deserve a special mention as they allow people like myself with the 7-inch wrists to wear the P01 in comfort. The luminous material has an English cream hue which adds to the vintage appeal and looks nicer than the usual faux patina lume we are normally offered, which borders on terracotta in its coloration. I'm delighted to see the box glass has been kept. The 1968 original would have utilised a hardened plastic. This makes it much easier to recreate the shape of the box glass. Sapphire glass is grown in one tube and cut into discs that become the sapphire glass on a watch case today. Therefore, offering the box glass is a true luxury. The crown at 4 o'clock was seldom seen in 1968. The main protagonist was Seiko. In a day way before the internet, it is unlikely that Tudor would have seen similar crown positioning from the land of the rising sun. This repositioning adds comfort and reduces the risk of it being accidentally damaged. Remarkably, for a vintage-inspired timepiece, the P01 is an innovative design. It was never intended to be pretty because there were too many design constraints. It is definitely function over form. I think it has a wonderful utilitarian style of its own. It definitely looks fit for purpose.
Wow, that certainly told me. And they do say that every day is a school day. Now I know the bezel has something specific about it.
The bezel has the 12-hour display for the navigators it was intended for, instead of the usual 60-minute rotating diver's bezel we are more familiar with. There is nothing whimsical or frivolous about the bezel locking design. It was not in Tudor's intention to simply be different in a homogeneous sector of the watch market. The design was inspired by the US Navy as a fail-safe against accidental movement of the bezel, which could be just as catastrophic for a navigator as it is for a diver. This unique and cool design was intended to negate any deceptive readings. The bezel is bidirectional because we do not have the usual timing concerns related to divers' bezels.
So let me just take a look. It's that easy because I couldn't do that a second ago. Oh my word.
Simple.
So it's very, very easy. I was trying to force it down, but the simplicity of it is...
Absolutely, and you need to be able to do that on your wrist. And then great serrated edges, so you can rotate that quite easily as well on the wrist.
Fantastic.
It's a very clever design.
Built for purpose. So with that, from what I can see, years after much deliberation and shelving from the US Navy, the watch has been reborn into the modern era. I think they have taken a real chance on this. Where there is risk, there is usually very little reward. For me, it fits perfect with the brand's motto, Born to Dare. Fair play to Tudor. So Richard, as a guru of the horological world, what are your thoughts on this, and do you think it will be a hit or a miss?
I know this watch will be a surefire hit because you have a contemporary design with a classic story to go with it. This is a very rare in the watch world. Normally, re-editions etc. have, by virtue of the period they originally created, they are classic in appearance. This fresh design on an already popular platform offers the wearer with constant aesthetical delight. Useful attributes and a wonderful story involving the sibling of the world's most famous and collectible watch brand.
As with the majority of watches on our website, the Tudor Black Bay P01 is available with 0% finance. We offer an in-store collection. We believe in the traditional retailing experience, and this gives us the opportunity to show you the level of service we can offer. And with that, the show draws to a close. So Richard, have I taught you a thing or two about the P01? And how do you feel about sitting next to such a knowledgeable man?
Fortunately, Loz, I'm only intimidated by your size and not your watch knowledge.
So, please feel free to leave us any feedback, comments, DM any questions, and follow Richard personally on Instagram at WatchNerd1970. I'd like to thank everybody for watching the show. Hopefully we will be able to make this a regular feature. Also be sure to check out our website www.amjwatches.co.uk. Follow us on Instagram amj_watches, and also check us out on Facebook. We are the largest retailer on social media for luxury watches, so please make sure you like our Facebook page. Thanks again. Speak to you soon.